Hi, I'm Jeannie Patel Thompson from listentoyourgut.com. I'm here with Natasha Trenev, the founder and owner of Natron.com, a world-renowned expert on probiotics and culturing and fermenting. We're here for Healthy Gut Bugs Q&A, session number 2, all about getting a healthier microbiome, and we have a ton of questions that have come in from my readers that we're getting through, which is why this has turned into a series, because there's been so many questions. And I want to kick this one off, though, because right before we hit record, Natasha and I started talking about kombucha, and I went, wait a minute, we should actually save this conversation for the call. What kicked us off is we had a reader comment come in on the last video that we did, where she said, if I take a deep breath when you ask me about fermented foods, or dumping a pile of probiotics in your shake after a round of Cipro, or start explaining why you're having a histamine reaction after your friend told you to start slamming back kombucha like it's soda pop, watch this. And Natasha, you said what?
I said that, we in the Western society have to learn that just because a little bit of something in a culture is good, it doesn't mean that we go run out and consume this in gallons. And this is what we're doing. We have a history in the alternative healthcare practitioner profiles that says that, we should not be consuming yeast. Remember this, for 30 years, we talked about anti-candida diets, yeast sensitivity, and all of a sudden, it looks like that 30 years of that discussion fell asunder, and we're now running out and getting something that's fermented with a mushroom that nobody really knows. There's no standards. It's a cultural thing, and I'm sure that when it's made in a culture by families who know what they're doing and consumed in the way that they traditionally consume it is fine. But then adding it to all kinds of beverages here in this country, in the old days, adding any kind of a yeast to a dairy product or a beverage was considered a contaminant. And so now we're adding yeast, and there's no, how shall I say, Canadian standards or US standards as to what kind of yeast can be added, what is the species, who's responsible for the fermentation cycle, and what about contamination? Are the products microbiologically pure? And this is where I believe that ignorance is not bliss. It's quite dangerous what people are doing. They have no idea what they're consuming, and they're consuming a yeast with a sugar, which can probably grow inside their intestinal tract. And I always tell people, it doesn't mean that if you're not getting a reaction today, that you won't be getting a reaction 2 months from now, 3 years from now, who knows? But you are disturbing that ecosystem that is the most important ecosystem to your health.
Very interesting. And I remember when kombucha first came out 20 years ago, and it wasn't available commercially. It was only available through very specialized health shops. And the one that I tested was from Germany, in the glass bottles and shipped. But even then, at that stage, when I tested it, and the recommended dosage was a quarter to half a cup a day. And that was enough for me to see an effect of the product. And, again, Germany has very high standards. I tend to trust a lot of the alternative supplements coming out of Germany more than I would the US and Canada and whatnot. But it's interesting to go like, okay, even from that, quarter to half a cup as a recognized therapeutic. Like this wasn't something you drank as a daily beverage or ongoing. It was really a therapeutic to how it's being consumed now, which is like, when you order your burger, you have a kombucha with it. You don't have, instead of having pop or juice, right? Like that's how it's become in usage today in North America.
Yeah, so that's, to me, that's appalling. I think we lack researchers that have vertical knowledge like you and I, and people are just picking up fads, and they think just because it's posted on the internet or because their friend tells them about it that it's great.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can see a number of young people that adopt diets just because somebody told them it's good, and they stop eating things that are healthy for them. and eliminate things that they shouldn't possibly eliminate. And then we have young women that are malnourished and even lose their menstrual cycle, which is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And they just go on these fad diets. And I think that my cautionary tale to everybody is know what you're taking, decide what your genetic background is, what is the best diet for you. And we can talk about this, about the raw diets and why I'm opposed to them. And that people have no information. They don't know how to choose a probiotic. They don't know how to choose an exercise that's best for them. They don't know how to choose a diet that's in line with their genetic background and what they're predisposed to digesting. And so that's where I think we have to drive everybody back, that, adopting something that's on sale and putting it in your mouth because somebody told you it's good is the worst thing you can do, because let me assure you, neither the Canadian or the US government is checking in to see what active ingredients are in those products or if it actually does any good for you.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that most of us are lost.
And that's the key, that it just continues to mystify me over and over, that people think that there's somebody looking out and proofing all of these products and testing them to see if they actually contain what they say on the label, and to realize that that's maybe happening in 1 out of what, 500,000, 1 million products that the FDA or whoever is in charge, Health Canada, is actually managing to snag and test. It's just not the kind of quality control that people are thinking about. Come on over to listentoyourgut.com and grab my free ebook, What You Need to Know About Probiotics.